What's a good side hustle? Well, welcome back. I'm Ted Thomas, and for 30 years I've been involved in a subset of the traditional real estate business. It's called tax liens and tax deed. Now later on I'm going to give you an in-depth description of how that works and how you can make that a side hustle as a business. Now in this episode I'm going to be discussing and answering that question. What's a side hustle? Well, for me, it was just a part-time job. That's where I started. But nowadays, they have a different name for it. It's a side hustle. So let's start out with your skills. What skills do you have? Now, are you a professional of some sort, like a doctor, an attorney, an architect? Or do you have a craft where you're able to be a carpenter, electrician, or you could be a mechanic or do some special services? Well, whatever your training is, that's the first place that you want to think about using that same agenda, the same things, and do a side hustle with that. Now, if you want to be an entrepreneur, what you have to do is you have to help people. Now, how are you going to help people? That means you have to do something for them. The people that you want to get money from, they're clients. And what they are, they're searching for solutions. Can you provide solutions? If you can, you're going to have a good career of being an entrepreneur. So expertise that you're already doing is valuable if you can provide answers. So anytime you can provide answers, you're helping people, and that's going to be a big deal. Now, to do that, you're going to have to be clear about what answers you can provide for people, because you'll want them to pay for those. So clients just want their problem solved. They just want their problem solved. So what makes you an expert at what you do? Well, you need to know what makes you the expert. Now, if you don't have skills and you don't have a profession, if other people are doing something you like, start learning it, because the sooner you have a profession, the sooner you have skills, you've got a career path of some kind to follow. Now, I'd be very careful which one I picked, because you want to make sure you pick one where you can earn significant money. Believe me, the internet, online, offline, whichever way you want to do it, will pay you money if you can come up with answers and solve people's products. Now, what market do you want to work in? Is the market really sensitive to money? Is it sensitive to the weather? Is it sensitive to people's opinions? Is it weak or is it strong? Why are you doing it? Are you passionate about this particular thing? I don't know. What's inspiring you? If you're after a side hustle, that probably means you're a freelancer. Now, there's a difference between a freelancer and an entrepreneur. Okay, now freelancers usually work for somebody else. They do a project, they finish it, they head back down to the beach, or they do whatever they want to do. Whereas entrepreneurs are trying to build a business. Now, when you're trying to build a business, that means you're going to have to be there longer hours. You're going to have to think about how people are going to get paid in the future. You're going to have to think about how will that business run when you're not there. So there's a lot to think about if you're going to be an entrepreneur and have a business. It's a lot easier to be a freelancer. Now, if you start as an entrepreneur and go backwards to the freelancer, that's okay. And if you're a freelancer, you want to have your own business, be an entrepreneur, it's okay. Sometimes it's better just to stay working for someone else, and that way you have the security, you know you're going to get paid, you know your insurance is taken care of, and you know your working hours. All right, now, if you're going to be an entrepreneur and you want to have a good side hustle, what are you going to do? Is it going to be faster? Is it going to be cheaper? Is the market big or small? What is the product? Why is it viable? Why will people pay you for it? You've got to figure those things out before you start doing it. Now, side hustle means you're going to be responsible for the marketing and the sales. Now, a lot of people forget that. So if you're going to be in marketing and sales, you're now responsible for revenue. Revenue is the most important part of the business. If you don't have revenue coming in, there is no business. So a lot of people don't realize that, and they get all involved in running the business and manufacturing and inventories and people problems and everything else, and they forget about revenue. That usually comes from sales. So you're going to have to learn a little bit about sales, a little bit about getting that revenue in. That's going to be important. Who's going to follow up on the customers? I don't know who it's going to be. All right, so let me give you a couple of things to think about. You're looking for a good side hustle. Well, business has always got challenges. By that I mean little challenges, big challenges, and entrepreneurs love that. They love to be solving these problems. Well, I discovered this business 30 years ago, and when I discovered it, I couldn't believe it because it had been around for 200 years at that point. In other words, you don't know what you don't know. Now, once I saw this business where I knew what I could buy it for, and then I could sell it for anything I wanted, I knew that was a business that I could do well in and I could make money. So there was plenty of inventory in this business. I didn't have to build the inventory. It was always going to be there. So I would have plenty of inventory and plenty of places where I could go and sell it. So what was this hidden market? Well, it had been around for over 200 years. Thousands of people have done it before I did it. Now, I was shocked. At the same time, I was delighted because now I knew there was a business. It was a subset of real estate. And so I knew a little bit about real estate. So I said, I can learn a lot more. Now, all this business had to do with was houses, small apartments, residential property, maybe small office buildings or small farms. Okay, but they were all going to be sold at absolutely pennies on the dollar. Basically, what was happening is millions of people across America were not paying their taxes. The legislature and the county won't put up with that. The legislature makes the law, and the law says if you own property, you will pay property tax. The people that don't pay the property tax, well, what's going to happen to them is they're going to lose the property. Now, how are they going to lose it? Well, the county, the board of supervisors, county commissioners are going to direct the treasurer to levy the tax, then collect the tax, and if it's uncollectible, the treasurer will seize, will confiscate the property. They'll take it away from you, and then they will resell it. Well, what does that mean? That means they're going to resell it at a public auction for 10, 20 cents on the dollar. The treasurer only cares about collecting the tax. So that they will advertise these properties online, and they will also put them in the newspaper. And they could, in a small population county, there'll be dozens. In a large population county, there'll be hundreds of properties which they're going to sell. Now, they're not trying to get retail price. They will discount these properties 60%, 70%, 80%, and put them back out into the market. That means you're going to buy properties for 10 or 20 cents on the dollar. And to top it off, the treasurer is authorized by the state legislature to cancel the mortgage on the property. So the mortgage and the deed of trust loan are now off the property. So what have we got here? We've got a property that's assessed by the county at some high number. However, it's now being sold by the treasurer for some low number, and you can buy low and you can sell it low. You can buy low and sell it high. You can buy it and do anything you want. You could live in it. You can fix it up. You can resell it. You can do anything that you want with that property. So these defaulted properties are sold in every county. All 3,000 counties across the United States will have these auctions, and there's over 5,000 auctions every year. Talk about a good side hustle. That would be a damn good one. All right, now all of these properties are sold at public auctions. That means you can go, I can go, anybody can go to this auction. And all you need to qualify is enough money to pay whatever your bid is. All right, now the highest bidder at the auction gets the property. Now, if someone goes in and bids more than the property's worth, believe me, they're going to sell it. Well, we teach our people, let's buy low and keep our bids low so that we have lots of margin between what we pay for it and what the value is to make money. So this business has been around. It's been around for over 200 years. I didn't invent it. Now, what's going on here? Well, the county treasurer is auctioning everything from houses, mobile homes, vacant residential lots. Now, some of these are junk. You don't want to buy junk. But you do want to buy the slightly used and abused properties, and some of them you can move right into. All right, so I don't know what's going to be there, but you'd have to look. All right, now the properties are sold 60%, 70%, 80% below the market is where the starting price is going to be. So I don't make those discounts. The treasurer does that. You can find all the properties on the county website, and you can find them in the newspaper. Think about that. All 3,000 counties. I didn't even know this business was there. When I discovered it, I said, wow, anybody can buy auction properties. All you need is the money to go there and do it. Now, the county is going to eliminate the mortgage and the deed of trust loan. How good does it get when they do something like that? So in today's episode, I'm discussing what is a good side hustle. What if you only did that once a year and made yourself 20 or 30,000? That would be a good side hustle. It would probably grow into being a lot more than that, because you'd find out in every county in America, you could be buying properties with starting bids of just basically the back taxes. All right, now remember I said the starting bid is going to be 10 or 20 cents on the dollar. Do I know exactly what it's going to sell for? Absolutely not. But savvy well-trained investors, they go and buy these slightly used and abused properties directly from the Treasury. Can't give the money to Ted Thomas, you give it directly to the Treasurer, all right? Once you own the property, they're going to give you a deed. You can sell it, and you can make any kind of profit that you want to make on that property. So let's give you an example of that. So let's say the property is worth $80,000, and let's say you can get it for $20,000. All right, so you bought it for 20, and they said it was worth 80. Well, you don't even have to try and get 80 for it. Why don't you just sell it for 40,000 or sell it for 50,000? Whatever you're going to do is you have a chance to make money. So the new buyer, if you bought it at $20,000 or $30,000 and you sold it for something above that, you would make a profit. My point is, anybody can make a profit in this business. Anybody can do it. But before I go, if you get involved in this business, before you go to any auction, make sure you have boots on the ground and you've looked at that property. If there was a windstorm or a hurricane, or there was a flood, or it was next to a chicken farm, no telling, or maybe the building had burned. I don't know what would have happened, but you want to check before you ever go to auction and buy that property. Also, you want to know what your selling strategy is going to be. In other words, if you don't have an exit strategy, don't buy the property. I'm Ted Thomas.